Monday Night Raw in Manchester, England has gone down. They develop more storyline angles, building to WWE Survivor Series. The Battle of the Brands, the NXT UK superstars had plenty of noteworthy cameos, some more than others. Lana is lying about whether or not she's pregnant. And Randy Orton and Ricochet are teasing something big down the line. I'm Kevin Kellam. Joining me as always, Mr. Robert DeFelice.
Hey, Kevin.
If you're with us here on the live stream, share the link, pass it on. Don't stink. If you do not want to smell bad, share the link. Pass on. Let us know what you thought of tonight's Monday Night Raw, a tape show from this past weekend. There was a lot of debate about this week's show because we got to hear the social media response from the arena this past weekend and then kind of see how it maybe was worked around in some more questionable segments. Am I correct, Robert?
I would say so. I think one thing I noticed a lot on Twitter was sound manipulation for certain people's entrances.
Yeah, there was some chicanery here with the sound manipulation here.
Which, quite frankly, if I ran a company of that size, I would do so as well.
So there was some perception that the show was going to be really bad because a lot of people did not like live at the Manchester Arena when this was taped on Saturday night. Am I correct?
Correct.
So
yeah, Saturday night.
Yeah, so they have time difference issues. You know, it's hard to do a show like this and have it air at the same time when they're like 6 hours ahead or something like that.
Yeah. So
they tape it, and so a lot of it gets out as to what they're going to do. We knew we were going to get Walter and Rollins. We knew we were going to get plenty of NXT UK guys having their presence. But overall, we'll get into the good. We'll get into the bad.
We'll get into the ugly.
We'll get into the bad. Don't worry. For those of you that want to watch the show, I've been watching for 25 years, and Vince McMahon doesn't have a direct line to my brain and what I want to see on TV when I want to see it. So we'll don't worry. We'll give those angry dogs their steaks to chew on, and we'll talk about the stuff that I thought was good too. All right. So I will challenge you. I will challenge the people that want to just rush to the bad. But Robert, do you want to do the good or the bad first?
I think was always taught you start with the bad.
Bad. So the bad. What was the bad stuff from this week's Raw?
Let's just address the elephant in the room. Let's talk about Lana and Rusev. It was better than the internet made it sound, but I think that's one of those.
It was a lot better than the internet made it sound.
I think that's one of those situations where, positively or negatively, when something gets talked up in such a way, it almost never lives up to what it's expected to be. This angle is a bad angle because it's so trash TV. But I am of the assumption that even though I don't like it, I think this is just a test run for how much can we get away with talking about sex. How much can we swear?
Their sexiversary.
So like their sexiversary, and it's great sex, it's mind-blowing sex, and they really keep hammering it home. I will knock Jerry Lawler on commentary. His little quips in between what Lana is saying made the segment drag more for me. And there was the swerve of Lana says to the camera away from the audience that she's not actually pregnant, and that wasn't picked up in the spoilers because obviously she said it very quietly. But
she said it to the camera. So, I mean, unless you were watching on TV, if you were that live crowd, you had no idea that she was just lying the entire time. She just talked to you for 10 minutes.
Right. And
so the whole segment is she had a lot of time to talk this thing up and say, here's the timeline, 7 weeks. There was a lot written for her in this that she had to get across, and she got it across. So I'll say that. She performed. This is the thing that you and I keep harping on. Like, they have a tough position to work in here. But I would say Bobby, Rusev, and Lana are trying to do as much as they can with it. You know, we got the overnight here at the NBC Tower. That's how late I am here. They're taking out the trash, but let's take out the trash here. This wasn't particularly great. This was not a great segment. It was, but I would say it's not the worst thing that everyone's claiming it to be. Is that fair?
I think so. I think And much like we spoke about an issue a couple of weeks ago with Jordan Miles where we said maybe we're not the two best people, I'm seeing a lot of female representation saying this is a step backward and this isn't a good progressive angle to be running at this stage in society. And perhaps there's some truth to that. I don't love it, but I'm also not horribly offended by the subject matter of it.
Cedric Ebert, Technian saying Eberhard, excuse me. New commenter, thank you, Cedric, joined the party. Said I enjoyed everything tonight except the love triangle. So there was a lot to enjoy in the show, but this was something that people are harping on here. Joseph is saying he misses Lana's accent. Do you miss her accent?
I do as well, because for some reason it does not fail. Whenever she says Rusev, it comes out. But as soon as she's not saying his name, there's no accent.
Rusev, but let me tell you about my accent from Vancouver. It was a lot. It was plenty to get into here. Herman Chikar says, I did not read the spoilers, but I enjoyed the show. So he had a fun time. See, he didn't spoil it for himself. So, because another thing is, you and I know this too. Internet fans want to put it in this one box. And for people that aren't watching it, say, this is the only way you can perceive it.
Yeah.
And I think we always have to pop that bubble. And no one likes it because then it's not your narrative. It's, it's not framed to exactly what you want it to be. So you can feel like I'm always above it. And they can only entertain you unless they just beat the odds. Like they always have to work from the negative with you. But this segment was just the most entertaining thing about it was the crowd turning on it. Like when she said that Rusev got her pregnant, but now she's with somebody else. And he came out, they started chanting Daddy's Home. I laughed my ass off. I thought that was absolutely hilarious. I thought that was very funny.
They came to life. And as they should, they feel like, yeah, vindication, Rusev. Yeah, she's cheating on you, but you got her pregnant. And they were super into it. Rusev Day chants, Daddy's Home chants.
So, and the other thing is they made it seem like the crowd absolutely hated this thing. They got heat. They're supposed to get heat. They're not supposed to get you to cheer for them. And when Rusev came out, the crowd cheered. So what isn't working about this? What's not working about it is pissing people off online, which is kind of the idea. That's 2019 heat.
I think right? I would agree with you 100%. The upset. It's gotten to the point where, and I never liked this 10 years ago when they were talking about it with John, but it's gotten to the point where literally any reaction is a good reaction. I think one of the things that hurt this segment was Lana got way too much time. And she was just dragging until Rusev came out.
Yeah.
We have a Simpsons reference. Worst storyline ever.
Yeah, a lot of people want to run to it and say that it's just that. But other bad stuff on tonight's Raw. We got to see some NXT talent on this show. And I will talk first about the bad presence of NXT talent on the show. Now, I didn't think this was bad per se, but let's just say a little bit underwhelming if they're supposed to be. This is the first time we're seeing them on Monday Night Raw. Flash Morgan Webster and Matthews on the show from NXT UK. They're featured, they're promoted, they come out, they have a match out of nowhere. It's not really advertised. You just get it, one commercial break to the next. It's a taped show, so the pacing isn't the same as it would be live. And then they get smashed by the Viking Raiders. They get a couple of hopeful maneuvers, hope spots, but they got smashed. I didn't really think there was very great use of them. I thought you could have done that with two jobbers and maybe tease something down the line with the Viking Raiders. There were some other, soft things on the show. I thought, Cedric Alexander and Andrade, they had a match, but it didn't get anywhere. And had some cheating stuff at the end. Wasn't bad, but wasn't great. It just felt like a holding pattern. We got to see Sin Cara, who reportedly today, went on social media and asked for his release, and then he got beat up by Drew McIntyre. And Drew McIntyre looked like a big monster. They said his name a lot in this match, which was interesting. They said Sin Cara's out there. He got no entrance. And mind you, they could have edited it out of the show if he was taped, right? And then he got obliterated. So those were matches that were there. They weren't particularly great, but they weren't particularly bad. But overall, there wasn't a lot of other things I didn't like on the show. Is there anything else on the show that you're kind of like, I didn't like that?
I'm curious. I'm kind of in the middle about what they're doing with Randy. I don't know where he stands right now, but
I'm going to talk to you about that Randy thing in a minute.
well, Randy is signed for another 5 years. That's confirmed. So I think now we're just settling into him as the time-tested veteran. And I'm just not feeling 100% on what we saw with Randy tonight.
Okay. That's what you're feeling.
Yeah.
I'm feeling the complete opposite. I'm feeling the absolute complete opposite. Let's jump into the good stuff on Monday Night Raw. I thought the show-ending angle, which was built around a six-man tag match with the OC teasing Ricochet and Randy Orton for getting into a little bit of a verbal tiff backstage. They set themselves up into a six-man tag match. Humberto Carrillo added to the mix here. Solid main event, like the back and forth. Ricochet, the babyface in peril, with Randy Orton, ever the tweener, sitting at ringside, just sitting on the apron going, told you, dude, shouldn't listen. You should listen to me. I'm the guy who knows what's up. I can get you whenever I want. And they kind of build to that angle again and again. They almost tease Randy Orton hitting him, Ricochet, his tag team partner in this match, with an RKO, only to put it on AJ Styles and Humberto Carrillo off the top rope. Big splash and a finish. Humberto gets the pin over AJ Styles, maybe repositioning himself for a title shot down the line. But more importantly, we get a tease of Randy Orton and Ricochet. I like the tease of this all night. I think it's a match that people wanted to see. The second these guys got their hands on each other recently in a big multi-man tag match a few weeks ago, people were calling for it. The way that Ricochet can take moves is very exciting, and the pacing of a methodical character who's explosive with Randy Orton physically is a great pairing. Personality-wise, it's pulling something out of Ricochet that very other few people can get. You need to get him to become a new big star for Raw, and he's doing that. I loved it. It was a great through line throughout the show. I enjoyed it. It added more to the main event as well. Also, Seth Rollins came out to the ring. Maybe they did some audio magic with it, with his reaction.
Mm-hmm.
But he called out NXT UK, and they came. Walter came. Walter. I love Walter. What a big, giant presence. I'm the NXT UK champion. This is Imperium. Your dirty feet are in the ring, and we are esoteric, and we're going to destroy you. Now, they got a singles match. It broke down into a big 8-man tag. Kevin Owens, Street Profits are out there. I loved it. The ending sequence with all the crazy moves, the stunner, the big splash over the top rope, Montez almost hitting the table, German suplexes everywhere, Walter looking like a beast, chopping Seth Rollins' chest to make it look like hamburger meat. It was a solid 8-man tag match, though NXT came up on the short end as, Alexander Wolf took the big old stomp from Seth Rollins. And we get more build toward NXT versus Raw and SmackDown.
The big old stomp.
Yeah, of the two cameos of NXT talent, this was certainly the more impressive of the two. And
Yes.
Walter got one heck of a reaction when he came out too, when his music hit and that crowd sang with it. That guy had star written all over him.
Walter's a star. Walter's a guy who best used sparingly. I like Brock Lesnar. I don't want to see him every week, but I see him every once in a while, and it's amazing.
And I really think as we develop into more of a defined women's tag teams, we got some good stuff here that opened the show. Charlotte Flair, Becky Lynch versus the Kabuki Warriors. I enjoyed the chop exchange between Kyrie and Charlotte. I thought that was kind of cool, and that she blasted her with some offense off the top rope. I thought that was neat. Shayna Baszler got involved. Bayley got involved. They're building their match. I mean, if people are looking for something to complain about, they're really just looking. There was a lot of good stuff on Raw tonight. I didn't think it was bad, but I do agree with you. Some of it didn't have the same oomph that it would if it was live, because we kind of knew online what we were getting a little bit.
Yeah, and I think, and I spoke to you about this before the show, the taped element always hurts the show for me, and having covered all of it, like 4 days ago or whatever, I was really like, okay, we're just going to watch it play out. That being said, it was a good story progression. We found out that the 5 men on Team Raw are Rollins, Owens, McIntyre, Orton, and Ricochet, I believe.
It's a good team.
That's a great team.
They made some great picks. The team looks good. It develops something. It also allows you to do a lot more with Ricochet and Randy Orton. I like, how much did they get out of those guys just teasing each other, just teasing one another when they would hit moves, and Ricochet would look back at the corner and say, see what I just did there? And Randy Orton would lay in and say, come on, man, we got to do something. It was little details that are so big. And Randy Orton is so good at stuff like that. He is so good at telling a story with his face and really laying in the idea of just being a prick. You know what I mean? Just being a total, I'm going to get you whenever I want. I'm Randy Orton. I'm third generation. I'm going to do whatever I want. And you got that. And the idea of him doing that now on a team, that's really cool. That develops something.
It's almost like he was trained by two master craftsmen of the game.
But Raw wasn't your cup of tea tonight. See what I mean? It's like, come on, man. I get where it's taped and you can say it's a little bit muted. Maybe it would have a little bit more of an effect if it was live. I agree. But come on, the UK fans got to get their live shows here. We can't just send them house shows all the time.
No, I mean, we did read and hear about, they booed Rollins out of the building. Certainly didn't sound like that.
No.
But again, we don't know what's being done. I was not a fan, as you said, of the usage of Mandrews and Flash No Gallagher. I think they're fantastic as a duo, and I would have liked to see them be used for more than just teeth cleaners for the Viking Raiders.
Teeth cleaners. That's a good way. That's a good term for jobbers. When you get fed to a team like that.
Yeah, like you clean your teeth with the bone there, but. Big news. There's matches, Kevin, and then there's matches. Confirmed for Survivor Series: Roderick Strong, AJ Styles, and Shinsuke Nakamura.
Woo!
You cannot miss.
Yes, dude, come on. On paper, Survivor Series looks legit. It looks legit on paper. On paper, they're doing all the women's champions. They're doing all your mid-level card guys in one match. It looks awesome. Okay. And then you're going to get the women are going to have their own a 5-way elimination match. All right. So we're not getting a War Games. We're not getting a War Games.
That's confirmed.
So War Games should stay on TakeOver. That keeps it special. All right. So that's going to be the night before the 23rd. All right. So the 24th, November 24th from Chicago. I'm going to be at both shows. I don't have my tickets yet, so I'm concerned. But this looks stacked. Survivor Series looks like a really, really stacked card.
I love it. I think it's looking to be one of the better pay-per-views of the year from WWE. I think we didn't even touch on, The Fiend and Daniel Bryan, perhaps. We will know more about that on Friday. Like, this is a hot lineup for Survivor Series, and I'm very excited for the fall tradition.
All right, so let's rate this week's Raw. It did a good job of getting you excited for Survivor Series, but apparently it didn't excite you in the day, in the actual sit-down, watch-it experience. Okay? Because you're very petty. That's why, Robert. You took that shot. You took that shot on the chin. There you go. So rate Raw 1 out of 10. What do you give it? What do you give it? 6.5.
6.5. That was a solid show. And listen, don't get me wrong. When we do these ratings, they can't all be 8 or higher.
No.
Like, something has to be middle of the road. And I think tonight was very middle of the road.
I would say for our curve, a 6 is like a solid rating because there's like some really good matches on it.
Yeah.
You got to be really bad to, I think, get under a 5. And I don't think we've ever given a show less than a 5.
We have not.
I'm gonna be a little bit above you. I'm gonna give this show a 6.8, nearly a 7. But I didn't find it nearly as exciting as last week's Raw, which had the element of the NXT Florida crew being there, which I'm a little bit more attached to, and maybe that works me a little bit more. I think those characters are a little bit more over than the NXT UK crew. But for the UK fans, they got something. I thought Walter having his presence in the show. Walter looked so perfect in the show. This is a guy you've never seen before who walked out in 90 seconds, said, "We're Imperium. I'm the NXT UK champion. You are below me. We are about bringing honor to our sport." They got their gimmick over of elitists, and they delivered on that. And to go in there and doing that in that circumstance, great stuff. Also, Walter didn't take the pin. I like that. Kind of protected him there. I give it a 6.8. You give it a 6. pretty solid middle of the road matches you got to see. Definitely, I think the 4-on-4 match in the middle of the show with Rollins, Orton, Street Profits versus Imperium, and the 6-man tag match at the end of the night, the OC versus Orton, Humberto Carrillo, and Ricochet. Those are my 2 gotta go see him matches.
And I would throw in there the opening women's tag team title match, Becky and Charlotte against the Kabuki Warriors, because they don't miss.
3 matches in a 3-hour show. I don't think it's a bad thing. I mean, It's not a bad thing. You want to go look up YouTube clips? It'll be a solid watch.
We didn't touch on this, but real quick, shout out to them giving Humberto Carrillo the pin over AJ Styles. Like, fantastic. This kid, he's the Hispanic Rocky Maivia, and I'm going to say that until they put it on a T-shirt because it's a thing that is real. I like him.
He's Ricardo Maivia. Yeah, there we go. There, I know it's very, very bad. I will pick up something heavy and drop it on my head for you. Would that spicy, Robert?
Yeah, that's perfect.
All right, Eric Clark gave it a 9. You give it a 9 out of 10. Cedric gives it a 7.5. Herm the Germ texting here, giving it a 6.5. WT Dub gives it a 7. But then Eric Clark reverses his rating. Eric, no. Once you put out your rating and in the WrestleZone bylaws, Eric, you can't text in 2 different ratings. Eric went from 9 to a 6.8. What are you doing, Eric?
No, you can't just be so flippy floppy, bro. No. You're not Matt Riddle. You can't just kick the flip flops and watch them go. Okay,
and then make some poor ring attendant carry your germ-filled shoes.
Yeah,
come on now. I can't accept it. Cannot accept it at all. So that's what we thought of Raw. He gave it a 6. I gave it a 6.8. Let us know what you thought of it in the comments below if you're watching on demand or you're listening on the podcast side of things. Robert, we know you're busy with all the wrestling things. Now I want to do my plugs since you did your plugs earlier today. You can catch me on the radio on 101 WKQX, streaming anywhere around the world on your phone. 101 WKQX and the iHeartRadio on the TuneIn. All right, on your smart speakers. Best alternative rock radio in the world. Play Pearl Jam with Green Day. We got our big Nice We Stole Christmas shows coming up. December 15th, Byline Bank, Aragon Ballroom, 311, Highly Suspect, and the Glorious Sons. That's an awesome show. Those are bands you can see on like Warped Tour or Lollapalooza. We're going to have them in a 5,500-seat general attendance ballroom that's painted like Aladdin. It's absolutely beautiful, special place. If you're in the Midwest, make your way out. December 15th, Byline Bank, Aragon Ballroom. This Thursday, I will be at the Two Brothers Roundhouse performing with Still Not Fridays, a great stand-up comedy routine that I have going out there. Thursdays, it's free. If you like craft beer and jokes about me, and while I'm saying these jokes, you would also think, hey, I would make fun of him if I was his brother. Then you'll be able to do that. November 22nd, I will be headlining. The Raw will be in Chicago, but I'll be in Rockford, Illinois. And I will be at the Pig's Mind Brewery, headlining the Pig's Mind Comedy Festival that night. So you can come out for that as well. And of course, Survivor Series. If you're coming to Survivor Series, I am looking to record some special content on the scene with WrestleZone readers and wrestling fans outside the Allstate Arena, formerly known as the Rosemont Horizon. So hit me up on Twitter at KevKellam or at WrestleZoneCom. There we go. We don't have to end the show with you plugging other sites that you work for. All right. You already got your plugs in. Are you okay with that, Robert?
I am perfectly okay.
Good. You have no choice in the matter.
Damn. Real quick, you gotta go.
Good stuff, man. All right, we will be back tomorrow with the WrestleZone Daily. Thank you so much for supporting everything we do at WrestleZone. We are an independent collective of wrestling dorks, media people, and journalists, and we hope you appreciate all of the things that we type and put on the internet for your ears, your eyes, and your brain. Robert, when you watch all this wrestling, whether it's all the New Japan Pro Wrestling, we got Ross Berman live at the Globe
Theater on the scene right now.
On the scene, all right? Whether it's that, whether it's AAA, you want to watch some Glow, all right? I don't care. You watch wrestling, you got to do one thing. What's that, Robert?
Enjoy wrestling.
Good pause there, too. That works.